What's up, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about how Tom Brady is preparing for his $375 million NFL broadcasting deal. From using artificial intelligence and working with speech coaches to doing dry runs with his new partner, Kevin Burkhardt, Brady has been hard at work preparing for this upcoming season. We're going to run through it all today, but let's start with the obvious. Many people were confused when Fox Sports announced it was signing Tom Brady as the network's lead NFL analyst in 2022. Not only was Brady still playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the time, but the future Hall of Fame quarterback received a 10-year, $375 million contract from Fox Sports, easily making him the world's highest paid sports broadcaster before he had ever muttered a single word from the broadcasting booth. Now, don't get me wrong, everyone wanted Brady, of course. But for context, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are widely considered the NFL's best broadcasting duo. And now, Brady was going to make more money annually at $37.5 million than both of them combined at $33 million. The money, though, isn't necessarily a problem. ESPN is paying the NFL $2.7 billion annually for exclusive rights to Monday Night Football, and Buck and Aikman's salaries represent just over 1% of that payment. Disney will make the money back within the first few weeks of the season on commercials, not counting cable affiliate fees, and the stability of Buck and Aikman adds an aura that other networks just don't have on their broadcast. Add in the fact that 1, Kevin Burkhardt is cheaper than Joe Buck, and 2, Fox had the contractual right to reduce Greg Olsen's salary from $10 million to $3 million annually when he dropped to the number 2 team. And Brady's high price tag suddenly makes a little bit more sense. That doesn't mean there weren't other questions, though. Many people insinuated that Brady would end up backing out of the agreement after he decided to delay it a year upon his retirement in 2023. And there was an even bigger elephant in the room that few media members even felt comfortable discussing, i.e., the gap between a good broadcaster and a great broadcaster is very wide. And what would happen if Fox Sports committed $375 million to Brady, only to later find out that he wasn't really that good at it? Well, those questions are about to be answered.
I know a little something about your first game.
Are you going to tell me?
Maybe I will. You want to know?
I want to know.
Brady will make his broadcasting debut on September 8th when the Cleveland Browns and Dallas Cowboys face off in Week 1 of the season. And given that Brady went from a 6th-round pick to the greatest quarterback of all time, it shouldn't surprise anyone that the 46-year-old has been preparing for this job just as hard as he did when he was playing in the NFL. There's a quote from Peter King earlier this year. He said, quote, "Remember one thing about Tom Brady. He was handed nothing in the NFL. Everything he got, he earned. And he knew when he signed this ridiculous contract, he'd had every eye in football on him when the job began in September. Do you think he hasn't knocked himself out to be sure that he knows the rhythm and the cadence and the information patterns of doing color commentating? Now, that doesn't guarantee that he'll be good. I just think that he's smart, and he knows what it'll take to be good. And when he has a chance to call out his friends in the game, he'll find a way to do it," end quote. Now, every broadcaster takes a different approach to the game, but Brady has been in the Fox studios in Los Angeles several times over the last few months. He has been working with speech coaches on cadence and timing. The former NFL quarterback has called several simulated games with his new partner, Kevin Burkhardt. And Brady was even spotted on vacation with the rest of Fox Sports' NFL broadcasting team, including Michael Strahan, Jimmy Johnson, Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Andrews, Jay Glazer, Carissa Thompson, Julian Edelman, and Kurt Menefee. Sports broadcasting is more of an art than a science. Former players feel they have an advantage because of their game knowledge, but the best play-by-play announcers work their way up by calling thousands of games, and some of them even went to school for it. And other Hall of Fame players, like Drew Brees, have had their opportunities plucked away due to poor performances. The job is so difficult because you have to operate within a confined space, given just a few seconds at a time to educate fans on complex topics without going too deep. Colin Cowherd said on his podcast earlier this year, Tom will have to talk 200 times between 8 and 14 seconds. If he boots it once, that's all anyone's going to talk about. Now, much of this weekly preparation is done by watching film. John Madden, for instance, was notorious for his prep work, gathering his crew in hotel rooms days before each game to pour over every possible detail or sequence they may need to discuss during the game. There's a quote from former NBC, ESPN, and Fox broadcaster Alex Flanagan where he says, quote, "John Madden's film study sessions were legendary. I got a small glimpse of them when I was part of the NBC announcing team for the Super Bowl in 2009 with Madden and Al Michaels. NBC set up a film room for him at our hotel, and the production group bonded around those study sessions. Seeing the game through the eyes of someone like Madden, who truly understands what they are watching, is invaluable." This seemingly won't be a problem for Brady, as he is only a year removed from playing quarterback in the NFL and spent decades doing exactly what he will be asked to do now. Times have changed too, with Brady recently saying at a tech conference in Las Vegas that he has been using artificial intelligence to, quote, "better understand the matchups, the players, and different situations that come up in the game." End quote. This really isn't just corporate speak either. Amazon's Prime Vision broadcast collects 300 million data points per season and often goes viral for its ability to highlight open receivers, predicting defensive coverages before the snap, recommending plays, and much more. Add in the fact that Brady has swapped notes with some of the world's best broadcasters, including Greg Olsen, Aaron Andrews, Joe Buck, and Troy Aikman. And I think it's fair to say that Tom Brady is probably more prepared for his first broadcast than any analyst ever. Brady told Pat McAfee earlier this year when discussing the notes that he had gotten from the broadcasters that I just mentioned, quote, "I could probably write a broadcasting playbook at this point," end quote. Now, the truth is that Brady will mess up. Fans will critique him on social media, and some people will undoubtedly say they want Greg Olsen back in the booth, who sort of unfairly got demoted to the number 2 team at Fox after winning sports broadcasting Emmys in both 2023 and 2024.
I think there's a lot of people wondering what I'm going to say right now. I don't know. Coming into tonight, people ask me, they say, what's your biggest threat to your future in the business? And everyone's like, oh, Brady and this. I think it's Andy from Toy Story.
But all of that will die out over time. Brady has proven that he wants to be the best at everything he does, and this shouldn't be any different. Fox will see an immediate ROI on the contract by increasing its advertising rates, and that's without even discussing all the ancillary benefits, like Fox having Brady hand out his MVP trophy at the United Football League's championship game, providing substance to what would otherwise be a lower-tier property. That's it for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. I make weekly videos breaking down the most interesting topics in sports business.